All right, thank you, Ben. So it's not going to be long now before all 1,400 CMPD officers are outfitted with a body camera. But that raises a lot of legal questions for anyone being pulled over. So Matt Fleischman is a partner at the Rosenstiel Fleischman law firm here in Charlotte. He's here to explain more about this issue. Matt, thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Let's start with the basics here. 1,400 officers are going to have these. Are they going to be required to have them on and on at all times? How does that work?
So it's unclear at this point whether they're required to wear them all the time, but if they are wearing them, the camera will always be running. It's sort of like what they have right now in the vehicles. It's the dash cam is what it's called. It's always running. It's kind of like a DVR on your TV. It's always running, and when the blue lights go on, it starts recording and it flashes back 30 seconds. It's going to be the same technology now with the body cams.
And then how does this work at the end of, their shift or whatever it is in terms of getting whatever footage is there? How long will the footage exist?
Those kind of questions haven't been hashed out. So, I mean, most likely it's going to be fairly similar to the dash cam. It'll exist as long as they've got the space to hold it, but space is cheap, so they can probably hold it for a very long period of time. Mm-hmm. The real question, of course, is your rights as an individual, being filmed now by the police, and your rights are fairly limited. And the other question is going to be, who has access to this video? It's going to be housed by, my understanding is Taser will house the video, at least initially. Then who has the right from the public to get this video, or lawyers to get the video?
And who does?
Well, that's in flux as well. I mean, this is a fairly new technology. Now, for example, defense attorneys can get dash cam videos. So if you're pulled over for a DWI or some other violation, lawyers can request the dash cam video, and you can get that. Body cam, in some areas, you can request it as well, because it is being used in some areas. Some cities have it. But there's been an influx of requests for it, so administratively, it's very difficult now to actually handle all of those requests.
So we're still working out all those details here for how it'll play out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your rights if you're pulled over. Let's say police officers are to a point, however many months from now, where they've got these on and they're on you as yourself and your vehicle as well. Are you allowed to record what's going on as well? You see cell phone video now. Is that legal?
Sure, you can video anybody. Now the question, of course, is, you as an individual, can you stop the police from videoing you? The answer is no. So if you are being pulled over, I always recommend people dress nice and be polite, because you don't know if that video is going to get used against you later on. It also enforces what we tell clients all the time, is to keep your mouth shut, especially because that video now is going to get used against you later on.
So, this goes both in vehicles and outside of a vehicle, right? On the street, anywhere like that. The police legally can be recording you, but you also can legally be recording whatever's going on your phone or whatever the case may be. Sure.
I mean, there are some limitations with that, but just in general, the general rules is you can record, especially if you're out in the public streets. You can do whatever you want.
One more brief question before we go, just because this came up in our production meeting yesterday when we were talking about this. A lot of people have wondered this. If you get pulled over in the middle of the night or somewhere that you just don't feel safe, is it okay to put your flashers on and go until you are in a well-lit area or where there are other people around? Or do you have to pull over right where the police officer puts their flashers on?
It's a great question, because you've had recently imposter police pull people over, and then unfortunately some people have been raped and killed by imposter police. So arguably, you can keep moving till you feel that you are safe, and that would be your defense if they accuse you from eluding the police and not stopping. It would be a defense to a charge that you might possibly get, and one, I think that would be a good defense to make.
So it is, you could have legal ramifications, but you would have a good defense against it.
Yes, you'd have a good defense.
Okay. Matt Fleischman, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Let's take it over to Eric.